We are live. Welcome everyone to our daily success call for Friday, the 18th of March, 2022. Happy St. Patty's Day yesterday. Yeah. Did you guys eat your corned beef and cabbage? I did. You know, in fact, I had to do it in two sessions. We were having dinner. My wife served dinner 10 minutes before I got to jump on a call with a good 10 or so of our brand new members. So welcome you guys. If you got to meet me, with our little small welcome group last night, that was mid-dinner meeting for me. So anyway, it's good to see you all. We got a few of the usual suspects here. I see you guys. Welcome. So glad you're here. It's actually Friday, so it's Fun Friday, which is why I'm out of uniform. We usually dress in tropical shirts or, funny hats or whatever, but on Fridays, but I did wear a tropical shirt. Can you guys guess where I got that? Can you guess? Right, Cancun. So my Cancun shark shirt. I don't wear white too often. I almost never wear white for obvious reasons, because it shows dirt really, really easily. And I'm Italian. I eat lots of, pasta sauce and stuff. And, I say to my daughter, since it's Fun Friday, I'll give you some funny anecdotes. All right. I say to my daughter, don't wear white when we go to an Italian restaurant. Okay, because the whole world can tell exactly what you ate after you've worn white to an Italian restaurant. Anyway, good to see you guys. A few more people tuning in. Welcome. I'm going to keep it light today. We do have, does anybody have a joke? It is Fun Friday. So, or if you got a dog in your midst or a cat or a frog or some pet that you want to show off, come on down. I know a small crowd today, but still, Terry, come on out, Terry.
Yeah, I've got a crazy joke.
Let's do it.
So why did the policeman give the sheep a ticket?
I don't know.
It was a bad driver.
Very good.
So I said it was crazy, but I thought it was cute. I found it one of a kid's jokes. So
sure. Well, we do rated G around here because we got kids could be tuning in at any moment, right? We got a lot of family and moms here and kids lurking in the background. So thank you, Terry. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So good. We're on policy. Somebody's got to tell a joke on Fridays. So I was just having a conversation with the mastermind group that I run, which is with entrepreneurs from all different backgrounds. A lot of them engaged in e-commerce, different forms of e-commerce. But we were talking a bit about the intuition that one would develop once they've reached a level of mastery. So I wanted to just talk with you today, keep it light, kick it around a bit, see what you guys think about this. But a lot of you are new here to the whole online business scene, which again can take many different forms, right? I mean, print on demand e-commerce is one tiny piece of what happens on the internet, obviously. So with that in mind, being new, right, being a newcomer to this whole world, and anybody who's in business less than a year anyway, would be considered like new. That doesn't mean you can't have, quick success. Okay. That just means that all of the production that you're creating is something you're very consciously doing, learning, hands-on, trying different stuff. Right. And so there's a hierarchy. Okay. And the hierarchy is in terms of competence and consciousness. There's four things, and you can review books that have been written about stuff like this. But the lowest level of I guess performance would be unconsciously incompetent. So in other words, you don't know, and you don't know that you don't know. Like completely like out in space, like on a different planet, right? So people don't know that they don't know, which in my case, that's the case with the vast majority of things that one could experience on planet Earth, right? There's lots of things that I don't know. I never will know. I'm not even interested. I don't even know this stuff exists. Nothingness, right? I've got no involvement with it at all. Unconscious incompetence. Next level up from that is conscious incompetence. So now I know that I don't know. I know that I suck at that. I am not proficient. I am not competent. I cannot produce something of worth in that area, and I know it. I guess give you an example. astronaut stuff, right? So I'm very aware that I don't know how to, fly spaceships into space. I got it. I'm consciously incompetent. Now, if I was interested in that, maybe I would take it to the next level. Hopefully I would, right? And the next level would be consciously competent. Okay. So that's sort of where I think a lot of people are. I mean, you wouldn't have shown up here like in this community if you were totally unconscious and no interest, no desire, no nothing, right? So you became conscious of the fact that you don't know, but you want to know. So now you're consciously working on becoming competent. So from incompetent to competent, that's a pretty big jump, right? That's great. So you're doing stuff, you know how to do it, and you know that you know. You're specifically making efforts consciously that bear fruit to whatever degree towards a specific known end. But the fourth level would be unconsciously competent. Well, wait, isn't being conscious a good thing? Well, we're going to just twist the word around here a little bit. Unconsciously meaning you're not efforting, you're not trying, you're not thinking so much about it. You're intuitively doing it. Anybody here? Everybody here? Like a jazz? You guys know jazz music? Anybody listen to jazz? I'm a metalhead myself, but I love jazz. And there is opportunities, right, that come up at the local place. The guys get together and jam, right? But here are some jazz musicians who have never played together before. They just met each other. Hey, I'm Bob, right? And you got the keyboard, you got the bass, I got the drums, right? And they just start jamming, and it's music. It's like it's not noise, it's music. How do they do that? Did they read the notation? No, there's no music reading. There's no, and they instantly know like what key we're in, and we're going and we're doing this and that. So they are improvising, right? And it's just flowing out of them. In other words, they know that language so well that they can improvise. That is a very creative and intuitive place to reside in terms of one's competence in doing stuff, right? So unconsciously competent, right? They just knew to hit that note at that time. That's just, and they can't tell you, it's not like I'm going to hear consciously and explain to you, well, you see, here's the formula, and we're going to use this scale. And no, that's a super high level of mastery. I've experienced this. And you know what? I think hopefully all of you can recognize where you've experienced this in some area of your life where you rock. I mean, that's it. You got it. To the point where you don't even think about it, to the point where you can accomplish stuff that other people might take, all day doing. You can knock it out like that without even thinking about it. I've got areas of my life where I can do that without even thinking about it. And again, it's not most areas. It's like, here are the things that I've been most interested in for my own production, survival, creating, the lifestyle that I want and all that. I've gotten really good at a couple of things, and I'm pretty much useless at all those other things. Well, great news. Other people are good at those other things. So when you become successful doing the things that you're interested in doing, you can then pay people to do the other things that you're clearly not that interested in doing. Otherwise, you would have become competent, but you didn't, right? So now you can pay for other people's competence. That's good leverage, by the way. You don't have to be all things to all people. I mean, good luck with that, right? So in the way that you've developed that intuitive or improv, where you're just kind of in the flow, there's no forcing, no striving, no all the thinking about it and considerations. It's just boom, 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 done, done, done. Here's the question: can you get to that with this? Of course, the answer is yes, you can, but will you? And to answer that, I would say, well, how far do you want to go with this? You can go to whatever lengths you'd like to go. I mean, people like Rachel, they live and breathe this stuff. Like, they love it. That's awesome. Right. So yeah, you can do that. You can go further. Right. I mean, look, there's this guy named Jeff Bezos who started this website selling books. Now he sells whatever he wants. He's the or one of the richest people in the world. All right. So that was an idea. And yeah, there was a lot that went into that. That wasn't, he just floated his way, on an improv night or something, understand that most overnight success stories aren't. I grew up in New Jersey. I think you got a lot of you know that. And back in the 80s, there was this overnight success band that hit the scene, smash hit, right? Anybody heard of a band called Bon Jovi? You did, right? Of course you did, right? Huge success, overnight success. Overnight success that took 10 years to put together. All right, 10 years. So don't compare your insides to other people's outsides, right? What sacrifice, right? And what is sacrifice? It's giving up something of a lower nature to gain something of a higher nature. Okay, so what sacrifice was made? What did that person who's excelling and who's at the top of their game, what did they trade their life for? So here's time that you have to do this thing that you're doing here with your body and the planet. Okay, great. So you're gonna invest that in something. So how do you get to a level of mastery? You become so into it that you amass so much data, so much good workable data, so much solution-oriented, productive, distinctions and cognitions and abilities that you no longer even think about it. Sadly, the jazz masters, they're mostly broke, brilliant musicians, but the reward isn't necessarily money. Yeah, they made $100 doing the lounge act or something, but there are people who make a living in the music business too, right? And they're working their asses off. All right, in Nashville at the recording studios, doing sessions. We need to do the violin track for. I actually have a buddy who produced an album. It was a Christmas album, and his friend is a great pianist, and they wanted to do this Christmas album, so he funded it, and they brought in. This was in Nashville, Tennessee. They brought in the members of the Nashville Symphony Orchestra, and it was breathtaking to see. All right, here they are in the room that's completely quiet, right? The sound booth kind of room. And they had, I think, 5 violins and a couple cellos, and it was just some string players, right? Accompaniment to the piano and what have you. And so they're recording their string parts. And I remember my friend was relaying to me that as he was observing them from the control room, you could see, who's doing what, and they would, cue the microphone to give commands back and forth. Okay, but the head. Not really a conductor. There was no conductor in the room, but the chief performer of the troupe was this woman who they just had the music in front of them, and they would perform, and then she would say, "Okay, violin number 3, this part right here. Let's retake that." I mean, she could hear stuff that, to these guys in the control room, it's like that's the most amazing strings it's amazing. Wow, listen to that. Right, but to the woman who was in charge of the actual product, right? Here's what we're performing. She found errors like that. She found errors. So why am I bringing all this up to you? Do you want that? Do you want to get to the point where you can just say, you know what, we're going to do these products here, these coffee cups. Those are the shirts. You know what? St. Patty's Day is coming up. You guys who were with us on Wednesday. I showed you, just by chance, I pulled up a couple of websites that I bought t-shirts from, and one of them was showing, like, here's all of our Irish stuff. Here's the Irish t-shirts, right, that we just came out with, right? So you can get to the point where, you're just like moving and shaking. Now, did these guys sell out of every t-shirt? I don't know. I'm not in their business. I don't know. Maybe some of the shirts were awesome. Maybe some of them were terrible. They're sitting on a bunch of inventory. I don't know. But they're at the point now where they can produce, here's 7 shirts just for this holiday, right? And they can make those deals and not be so concerned, right? So I want you to think about this. There's areas of your life where you're in the flow. You're in the flow, okay? What does it feel like to be in the flow? Now, imagine yourself in your business in that flow, right? Improvising, right? Knocking stuff out. It's a beautiful place to be. especially when we're talking about business, because now, well, what does that render? Right? That renders you making money. And that's the whole point, right? I mean, if you wanted a hobby, you can go get a hobby and spend money. You know, that's fun. But how about profitability, right? So I would say get really interested. Here's how you do it. You get really interested to the point where you suck up every little detail, and then you can see stuff. You can intuit stuff. You can not have to think so much about it. You go faster and faster and faster. Speed and competence go together, right? This past weekend, I took my daughter to the Gator Nationals, NHRA drag racing. We watched nitromethane burning, the most extreme, motorsports in the world. These guys are going 335 miles an hour in like 3 seconds. It's unbelievable, right? Very competent and very fast, right? Like you got to be able to see everything in like thousandths of a second. They measure. We saw one race where the two cars had excellent runs, and one finished the quarter mile in, it was like 3.57 seconds, and the other one was 3.58. It was like, oh my goodness. So I don't know if you guys are into that stuff. I certainly am, but I'm talking about splitting hairs, thousands of seconds, win or lose, right? So anyway, I'd love to hear if I'm triggering any thoughts from you guys, as far as like getting into this flow and becoming unconsciously competent. Mastery, is that attractive to you? Have you recognized that in some other areas of your life? Are you developing that here? Floor is open. If anybody wants to, or any questions, feel free to come out with that. I know we got an intimate crowd here today. So any thoughts, questions, ideas? Hey, we've got Shaquille. What's up, Shaquille? What you doing, brother?
Well, what's up, everybody? Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. I love this topic. It's an interesting one, and I think that the significance of it is something that is kind of subtle or can go, overlooked or just straight up missed. In terms of competence, well, this kind of reminds me of what my Tai Chi teacher was talking about when we were learning how to do a specific breathing technique, and it's called embryonic breathing. You kind of poke your belly out as you're exhaling, and that's not normal. You usually don't expand your belly as you're exhaling, but in this technique, it's got its benefits. And the thing that he was talking about is that you go through the process of regulating each of your doings or each small component of what you're trying to do until you get to a point where you don't have to regulate it anymore. It's like learning how to drive. It's like, when you first start out, you're paying attention to everything, you're like thinking about everything, but then eventually you get to a point where you can text and drive and, have a damn car accident, so like, which we don't want to have any car accidents, but you see what I mean? That like your competence increases as you do more reps, as you spend more time in the area. And so it's like, you can't contemplate your way into competence, like you kind of have to go and get your hands dirty and just do it. Now, for the past week or two, I've been going to bed around like 8 or 9, like pretty early old man schedule. But last night I was up until 2 a.m. I was up until that time launching products on my Amazon through Gear Bubble's integration. I finally set up my integration and stuff, and it made everything so much easier. And I was like, man, I can get this rocking. So I was up all night just coming up with concepts, and it felt so good. You know what I mean? That I felt like a maniac, and that's what I want to be, is, obsessed with doing this and coming up with stuff and doing. And I felt my competence increasing as I was just bumbling through, setting up all my stuff, because as I was just going towards it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was following the instructions and watching videos, and it was boring as hell. But then I eventually got it, and then, okay, it's starting to make sense. All right, here we go, baby. And then I didn't want to go to sleep, So like,
Right.
I think that's a great place to be. And it's, you just kind of have to put yourself out there, allow yourself to feel stupid and feel like you don't know what you're doing. And then just get over it and just do it. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you won't be crawling anymore. You'll be walking around and doing all types of cool and fun things. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and that's so great. Well done and congratulations. It just feels so good to be in the flow and to lose track of time. That's part of the experience, right? Is like I'll go back to like the jazz guys, right? So they got an hour on stage just improving or whatever, and next thing you know, an hour's gone like that. So living it, just living it. That's the level of mastery you can get to, right, in that flow. Thank you so much, Shaquille, and you're getting love in the chat as well. People are enjoying your testimony here today, because look, who doesn't want that? Right. So yeah, you missed a little bit of sleep. You'll survive, right? That's going to be fine. But get it done.
Thanks,
get it
guys.
done. What do you think, Alec? What's that?
I wanted to say I love you all, guys, and thank you for the time.
Good times.
Encouraging words in the chat. Yes, yes.
Good times, Shaquille. All right, Alec, you've got the floor, sir.
Yes, sir. You were talking about competence, and you see, I like to work things in kind of A to B, even though I know there's that gap in between the two, but I like to work my stuff or myself in sections. And like cooking, for one, you can throw any ingredient at me, and it's and I personally feel, have you ever seen that movie Ratatouille?
Oh, love Ratatouille. Love it.
Yeah, but have you ever seen the movie?
No, that movie itself. I've got a 12-year-old.
okay.
I've seen every children's movie multiple times. I own Ratatouille. It's on, in quick replay on the car. Right. Yeah. So, yeah.
So I feel like that when I'm in the kitchen. I mean, you can give me anything, and for the most part, I'm going off a scent. Like,
so you're like Remy, not Linguini, right? Remy the rat, not Linguini the kid. Okay.
Yeah.
For anybody who's never seen Ratatouille, go watch this movie. It is awesome. Ratatouille. It's like 20 years old now, I think. Something. Yeah.
It's not that old. But
you're Remy the rat.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Not my favorite movie, but one of. And
2007, guys. That's 2007.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
I think I graduated that year.
That just happened. Look at this. Ratatouille, 2007, rated G, 1 hour, 51 minutes. There's Remy the rat right there. There's Linguini. What a great movie this is. Oh my goodness. All right.
And that's exactly how I feel in the kitchen. You give me something, and I am going to make something out of it. I'm going to make something work. Now, see, I do also like to think of that when it comes to, like, let's say the designing. I know I procrastinated on for a long time. But see, I look at the designing process kind of just like cooking. Everything is already there. Everything is already made. You just have to make something good out of it. I like to do the same thing with music. Like, hey, you know what? I like this beat. I like that beat. I like that beat. You know what? Let's put them all together and let's make something work. Let's make something happen. And you see, the technical part is the part that always gets to me. So for a long time, it's been very like, but I wrote my first book. I finished it yesterday. It
Wow.
had been something that I'd been wanting to do for since I was in high school and middle school. It'd been something that just I felt had to be done.
Hmm.
And I did that yesterday because yesterday was the 7th day. I'm a numbers guy, so 7 for some reason is just always a very good number for me. So I couldn't finish it today. I couldn't have finished it the day before. I had to finish it yesterday. And I finished it. I mean, it's not like a complete, it's not a complete final product, but I have the main rough draft already made. So I have something already to work with, like to actually just say, you know what, this is what I am going to do. And
Mhm.
you talked about competence and what, like, can we do that with this business? I honestly do feel like I do feel now more than ever that this is a lot easier than what I'm telling myself it is.
Mm.
Because for a while it came to the technical part and I was like, oh, I don't know. I got scared.
Mhm.
But then I finished the script in like 7.5, 8 days. So that was cool. That wasn't my first script I've ever written though. Um I finished the book in 7 days.
Wow.
Things that I wanted to get done. I go to the kitchen. I made something to eat like for lunch earlier and I did the whole thing in like 30 minutes. It was no problem. It was just, hey, you know what? Do that real quick. Okay, now it's time for that. Okay, now it's time for that. Boom, 30 minutes, done.
Done.
And
My
I have
favorite
a
four-letter
full
word,
meal.
Alec. Done.
Done, done.
Done.
So competence is much more important than I even knew about. And I would just like to say thank you, Mr. John. And really today was really just yes, you can pat yourself on the back, but really today was just I came to just tell you that the book got done in a week.
Wow.
With
Well
that,
done. You're getting some love in the chat as well from Dora. Sarah's got a run. Terry, Sarah's got alarms going off in her building. Okay, well, yeah, do what you got to do there, Sarah. Um, good times. Thank you, Alec, and congratulations once again. All right. Well, guys, you ready for the weekend? Yeah, you want to do the weekend thing? Let's do it. I think we do it. I'm going to be back here with you on Monday. So have a great and productive weekend. You know, find ways to keep building that mastery, even if it is the weekend. And of course, if you're new here, definitely dig into your training as well as the accelerator program so you can get oriented about the bigger scene that's going on here in the low-hanging system, because we got lots of good stuff going on and we are happy to have you participate. So thanks again for being here, guys. Make it a great day.